So just want to welcome everybody to the weekly meditation session. Just grateful that you're willing to join in these sessions and explore some ways of using the mind to investigate the mind, to get to know ourselves better, how we, what's happening in the mind, how we're responding to things. That's what this mindfulness practice really focuses on, and we just do a number of different practices to explore this. So as always, just encouraging not coming here thinking you have to do something or get something, but more with a sense of curiosity and exploration, to get to know the habits of the mind and noticing what leads to ease, and encouraging that, and what leads to stress, and trying to steer away from that. That's kind of the basic exploration. And we'll start today, as we commonly do, with a grounding meditation. And if you're new to this practice, so it's just a way of kind of just arriving. So take your meditation posture, whatever. If you haven't meditated before, just find a way of holding the body that's comfortable, that feels supported. So you're really feeling like you don't have to work to hold yourself up. So feeling supported, maybe your feet feel supported, or you're feeling supported by a chair, but also feeling a sense of uprightness. So not just collapsing, but allowing the upper body to feel, the spine to feel long as much as possible, and allowing the head to just rest balanced and supported. But all of this, kind of the combination of feeling the support, the groundedness, sense of uprightness or alertness, but also a sense of relaxation. If you're comfortable, closing your eyes to kind of take away the visual distraction, or just have a soft gaze. And we'll let the bell transition us into the first meditation. So with the fading of the sound of the bell, encouraging the mind to let go of all the arrival, the process of logging in and getting set up and arriving, turning the attention inwards with the intention of just being present with this experience right here, right now. And we can begin that by just being aware of how the mind is right now. What's the mood of the mind? Is it still kind of arriving here? Is it still chattering away, or in the relative quiet, has it gone to sleep? Or is it leaning into the next moment, wondering what we're going to do in this meditation? Just, we don't judge any of this. We just notice what the mind is doing and how it feels. Does it feel relaxed, tense, groggy? And how's the body? How does the body feel? Is there tension? Is there relaxation? Is there alertness? Is there numbness? Just getting an overall sense of the body energy level. How is it right now? Again, we don't judge it, wanting it to be different. We just notice this is how it is. This body is like this. This mind is like this. And we can set an intention during this meditation period to just be present with this experience of being the mind resting in the body. So the mind is aware of the body. That's the intention. And it may wander off in thinking occasionally, and that's just what the mind does. But then we remember and we bring it back to a sense of, oh yeah, I was going to pay attention to the body. And we can do this in a systematic way by bringing attention to specific parts of the body and just checking in. So we could start with the feet, maybe. So bring the awareness to the feet, noticing if there's any sensation there. And again, this is a movement of the mind. And we're noticing awareness of different parts of the body, and we may notice that there is or is not any sensation there. But just bringing the attention to rest the mind in the feet. Noticing any sensation. Maybe a feeling of groundedness. Or maybe there's no feeling at all. We can just notice this. And bring the awareness just mentally scanning up the body, through the legs, the knees, thighs, maybe a sense of the body resting on the support of the hips, the legs. Just noticing how it is. And then bring the awareness up through the back of the body, noticing if there's any sensation there on the back, the neck, shoulders, up into the head. Maybe noticing if there's sensation on the back of the head, the forehead, the eyes, the jaw, noticing if there's tension or relaxation there. And then moving the awareness back down the throat to the upper chest, shoulders again, the heart. Maybe we feel the beat of the heart, or maybe not. Letting the awareness move down in through the lungs, into the belly. Noticing if there's any sensation there. Maybe you feel the rise and the fall of the belly with the breath. So we can rest the awareness in the sensation of breathing, however we experience it, maybe in that belly, maybe through the whole lungs, throat, nose, or maybe we don't feel those sensations, but we just have a sense of the body receiving energy on the inhalation and a sense of letting go on the exhalation. Receiving, letting go. Can we rest the awareness in that sensation of breathing, however we experience it? Breathing in is like this. Breathing out is like this. And noticing if the mind stays with that or if it's wandering off, thinking, sleeping, daydreaming. Just notice what the mind is paying attention to, what the mood of the mind is, how the body feels, and then coming back to the intention to be with the breath. Breathing in, breathing out. Noticing if the mind is still with breath or if it's wandered off. And we don't judge that, we just notice what the mind's doing. And come back to this sense of the body breathing. Breathing in is like this, breathing out is like this. And then taking 3 intentional breaths, breathing in with a slightly longer exhalation. Breathing in with a longer exhalation. And breathing in and a longer exhalation. And just checking in to notice how the mind and the body feel. How is it right now? This mind, this body. Is it relaxation? Is there agitation? Drowsiness? How is it right now? So this is our basic practice. We just are training in these meditations to check in with the mind, check in with the body, how it is right now, what's happening, how the mind and the body are responding to what's happening, whatever it is. And we train in meditation so that we can take this into the world and check in throughout the day rather than being lost in thought and activity, to just really know, how is it right now? However it is. Maybe it's good, maybe it's bad. It's like this. Can this be okay, just as it is? So the bell transitions us from that inward reflection and bring the mind back to awareness of our surroundings. Open the eyes. Maybe just reflect on what you noticed during that brief sit. Again, not judging, but being aware of what the activities in the mind were. How was it in the beginning? What did the mind do during the meditation? And maybe most importantly, how are you right now? How is it right now? And then letting that go and coming back to awareness of our presence here on the screen. So that process of grounding in the body, we quite often in these sessions, we talk about being aware of body experience because it gives us an indicator of really what's happening in the mind. Maybe you saw some relationships. If the body was tense, the mind was tense, and vice versa. So a lot of these practices get us out of the habit of thinking about the future or the past, which is what we habitually do, into being aware, letting the body tell us something about our experience as well. And it gives the mind something to pay attention to. But what you may have noticed during that meditation, even though we were focused on the body, I pretty much bet that there was also a narrative going on in your mind. And maybe you let yourself go to the narrative that I was giving in the guidance, but there was probably some commentary that went along with it. When you get to different parts of the body or you're assessing your experience, maybe there was some commentary of, I like this, or I don't like this. And this is what the mind does, but I don't know, maybe your mind is different, but my mind does this throughout the day. There's this narrative commenting on experience. And a lot of the times the narrative isn't especially helpful. There's a lot of judgment that goes on, negativity. Oh, I don't like this, or I wish this would change, or I wish this person were different, or I wish my body were different, or I wish my mind were different. And that narrative, those words, it's really important to pay attention to that. So even though a lot of the meditations that we teach pay attention to the body, we can also be aware of what the mood of the mind, what the narrative is in the mind as we're being present with our experience. And what I've noticed over these years of my meditation practice is, and I notice in conversations with other people, and I think that's what brought this topic up. I was having a lot of conversations with people, and just a lot of the conversation goes negative a lot of the time, complaining about the weather, complaining about politics, complaining about whatever, or judging other people. Why can't they be different or whatever? And if we watch our mind, even during like that body scan, we can watch the complaining mind, the commenting mind, having an opinion about what's going on. And what we can do by tuning into the body is we can notice that habit of the mind to comment on what's going on, and then how that affects how the body feels. So there is that connection that's going on there, and we can use how the body is, how it feels, to tell us something about whether the commentary that's going on is really helpful or not. And so, it's pretty obvious when we're negative and stuff, we can kind of feel the weight of that coming, and we can know that there's a problem. But even when a lot of us who are addicted to thinking and planning, we think it's really helpful. Like, yeah, if I just figure this out, or if I just plan this, and it can feel really energizing. So it feels really positive. But if we notice how agitated the body can become, or just how tired the body and mind can become when we're constantly planning, that again is something we can pay attention to. Like, this is a habit of the mind to always try to plan, to try to make things happen. And this is the effect on the mind and the body, the exhaustion. Like, a number of people that come to these sessions have commented, well, I just come here for meditation and quiet to get the mind to calm down. It's the disliking of the overactive mind, right? And so we can watch these. And so the words that we use in this narrative are really important. The languaging that we use as we're describing our day-to-day experience to ourselves affects how the mind receives it. It affects the perception. If we just say, well, it's a gloomy day out there, it really feels heavy, that keeps feeding the perception of heaviness. Where if you just notice, well, it's cloudy today, if you don't call it gloomy, you call it cloudy, there's a different perception. And so these words can color what our experience is in the world. And we can see this in our meditation as we're describing, we're complaining about why won't the mind settle down. That complaining mind, we can feel the effect of that complaining mind. Like, it's not even so much the chattiness of the narration, it's the not liking of the chattiness. Why won't it go away? We criticize ourselves during the meditation. So this is a lot of words to describe why words matter and why paying attention, a lot of us think that we're doing meditation to try to stop thinking. And we found that it's pretty hard to do, and then we're frustrated. But maybe more important than stopping the thinking is to notice the effect of the thinking. Notice the effect of the words, because those words do matter. They do affect our well-being. So that's what I'm going to encourage in this longer meditation that we're going to do, to really pay attention to. We'll set an intention to stay with a meditation object, and the mind probably will go off in a narrative, and we can notice the effect. And then I'm also going to introduce some words to try to, we can use words to suggest a different frame of mind, and just see how that lands in your practice as well. And so we'll just kind of play with this with a sense of curiosity to see what the effect is, not expecting it to go anywhere. And if you resist this whole thing, you can notice that too. You can notice the grumpy mind resisting the whole idea of this, like, I just want quiet. So you can notice that too. So anyway, so a lot of talking. Let's come back into a meditation and just experiment with this and see how words do affect, whether it's our internal dialogue or whether it's suggested words. See how that affects the mood of the mind and the feeling in the body. So coming back into the meditation posture, feeling the groundedness, the uprightness, the relaxation, closing the eyes and coming inwards, and letting the bell transition us. So with the fading of the sound of the bell, we're bringing the awareness back in, noticing how it is right now. This mind, this body right here, how is it? It's like this. And we can set the intention during this meditation. Set the intention to be with a meditation object. And if the breath or the body worked for you in that first meditation, you could rest the mind there. Or you could just watch moment to moment experience, seeing what arises. So whatever object you want to choose, the breath, the body, moment to moment experience, set the intention to be with that. And just notice what the effect is on the mind. So being present with the breath, or with the body, or with just moment to moment experience. It's like this right now. And we can notice if the mind is still present with the breath, or the body, or the changing experience, if it's gone off thinking, planning, commenting. We just notice what it's doing, what the mind is doing, how that feels in the mind and the body. And then reset the intention to just be present with our meditation object. So checking in to be aware of where the mind is paying attention to. Is it still with the meditation object, or is it doing something else? Is there a narrative? Just noticing what the effect is of what the mind is doing on the mind and on the body. Can we just be present with this experience, whatever it is? Just receive it, not have to comment, not have to not like or to want. Can we just be present with it? Observing the breath, the body, changing experience. Can we just be with this? And if we notice there is a commentary, we could even just invite the words, repeat the words occasionally, be with. So maybe on an inhalation, saying be, exhalation, with. Just as a reminder, can I just be with this? Can I receive what's happening? Not have to comment on it. Receiving this experience moment to moment. Be with. What is the mind paying attention to? How is it relating to the experience? We just be with what's happening without commenting, judging, being impatient with it. Be with whatever's happening moment to moment. Being with this experience. So we can notice what the effect of this intention to be with experience, what effect those words have. And in meditation, we can also play with other words and just see what effect they have on the mind. So one invitation we could give ourselves is inviting ease. And so we could just remember the words peace or ease. Maybe make that like a mantra, just a rhythm of the words peace, ease, whatever word works for you. Inviting the mind to notice where there's ease in the body and the mind. Peace, ease. This is our invitation. Can we practice with that? Peace, ease, inviting the mind to notice this. And we can notice if there's resistance to that. And that's again just something to notice. Don't fight the aversion to this idea. But can we just hold these words, peace and ease, whatever word works, as an invitation for the mind to notice ease, any amount. Noticing what the mind's paying attention to, if it's still with the idea, the intention of noticing ease, or if it's wandered off. Just noticing what the mind's doing, how the mind and the body are. So one other pair of words that you might want to play around with just to notice the effect. So the words are just this. So widening, softening the mind. Just holding the words just this. Just this. See how that's received by the mind. Soften, widen. This is not thinking, it's just this. How is that held by the mind? There's no right or wrong answer to that, but can it be just this? So we can use these explorations of language to introduce in our meditation, especially if we're struggling with a mind that's chatty. What words might be helpful? Can I just be with this? Can I notice any peace or ease? Or is it just this? And you can make up your own words, but this is one way to practice, just introducing words that can influence the mood of the mind, redirect it. So finding what works for our own mind, that's our practice. So coming back to a sense of the body, present here, right now. Noticing the breath, maybe awareness of your surroundings around you, feeling the air moving around you, maybe sounds in the background, and the sound of the bell. So bring the awareness back to the surface again, and as always, just reflecting a little bit about what your experience was, what you may have noticed, what felt helpful, what you were resisting, when you fell asleep, when the mind was busy. And we don't judge any of this, we just notice. But by continuing to do this practice, we can continue this exploration with curiosity and kindness, and compassion, get to know ourselves better so that we can be more at ease with ourselves and therefore in the world. So that's the practice that I offer for this session. Thank you for being present. Look forward to joining you another time.